Are we talking about like a human corpse, or are we talking about
Oh,
an
that's a
animal?
whole
Okay.
other thing. I hadn't
Okay.
thought of that. You
I'm
know
sorry.
what? Maybe eating human corpses is moral. It is efficient. It's definitely an efficient use.
Oh my! I thought that's what you meant when you said it. Obviously, you didn't.
No, that wasn't. I wasn't thinking of humans. I was thinking of animal corpse.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad.
It's like waiting for a cow to die, and then it's like, all right, cow, we'll take you into the slaughterhouse. Oh, it's already dead. We don't need a slaughterhouse. We can just eat it. What about veganism? Do you want to talk about
Yeah,
veganism?
yeah. Let's talk about veganism.
Okay. All right. Um, I guess I'll start off by saying I think uh, if we're going to have morals and try and abide by them, then it is kind of ridiculous to try and say that eating animals is moral, as it's putting our own lives being superior over something else's life. Right
Mm,
to live company.
okay. So what you're saying is, if we're going to say that we're moral people as a whole, or maybe not as a whole, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if somebody is to say that they're moral, that they should become a vegan because it would be immoral to eat an animal.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Or, hmm. Or maybe it's too hard to call yourself moral, because there'd be so many different things that you wouldn't be able to do in life. But yeah, I think that'd be a good first step to try and live. If someone's like obsessed with injustices in the world, I think definitely no longer eating meat would be one of the first steps they should take.
Okay. So I suppose your claim here would be that eating animals is immoral, and then perhaps one of your reasons or justifications maybe would be that if you're going to be moral, you have to, if you want to call yourself moral, then you'd have to sustain from that because it's an immoral act.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think so. I think that's what I'm saying.
All right. So, with that being said, what are your reasons for thinking that eating animals is immoral?
Hmm. Uh, it's just selfishness, really, to say that. Well, I guess I'll start with to say it's not necessary. Eating animals in the modern world for most people is a luxury rather than a necessity. We don't need to eat meat to stay alive. There's plenty of alternatives. In fact, eating meat in itself is meat's like quite inefficient. Like every time you have to have an animal, it has to eat like what 10 times the amount of crops or has to eat a lot of food itself when you could just use the animal, use the space that's being grazed for the animal to grow food itself. You could feed even more people and probably have a greater surplus of food and maybe even stop some hunger in the world. Maybe that would lead to over farming and stuff, but I guess I'm going off topic now.
No, no, that's
Uh,
perfectly on topic, I think.
yeah. So first reason I'd say is the inefficiency of eating meat, as it's the inefficiency of like grazing out, growing animals and farming animals compared to just growing crops. I suppose maybe in some unusual climates where crops can't grow and animals can eat stuff that we can't eat, then it would make sense to eat some animals. But generally in the modern world, it's not necessary and it's inefficient. Also, it's fairly cruel to be systematically keeping animals caged up their entire lives, especially like those chicken coops where the chickens will never leave, they'll never see daylight. They'll just be in there, like, walking over other dead chickens' diseased corpses. And then, yeah, that's their life. I think it's quite immoral considering they're deemed as conscious. Um, pigs. Pigs are like a highly intelligent animal, but we eat pigs. And I think that eating pork is quite an argument for when people say we can eat animals because they're just dumb. But there are probably pigs with a higher IQ than some humans, and we don't eat those humans with a really low IQ. That would be definitely seen as immoral by most people. But eating a pig with a high IQ is seen as fine.
Okay. So, your reasons for thinking that eating animals is immoral. The first one that you gave was because the process is inefficient. So, like the pig eats, let's say, corn or something, and then we harvest the pig afterwards, and obviously there's a lot of waste because the pig poops out a lot of the stuff, and you don't eat every single part of the pig, so there's a lot of inefficiencies that go into that. Was that a good summary of what you meant?
Yeah, that was pretty much what I was trying to say.
Okay. And then the second reason you gave was that there's bad conditions, perhaps when people are raising and farming these animals. So you gave the example of like chickens and them stepping over like dead corpses and such.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the last reason was because some animals are intelligent. You gave the example of pigs and how pigs can be smarter than some people. That might be a little bit debatable there, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt that that pigs do have a high intelligence, but that was your reason.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I suppose we can first talk about the inefficiency. So you're saying, just to be clear, and don't let me put words in your mouth, but the inefficiency of the farming, is that a reason that it's immoral?
I suppose so, considering there are people who are starving in the world, and we're using space that could be used more efficiently to create more food.
That makes sense. I think I understand what you're saying. Is every inefficiency with regard to food, or maybe even some other resource, is every single inefficiency immoral?
Oh. Maybe, yeah, it is.
Okay. Do you think you can think of an example where there's an inefficiency and it's not immoral?
An inefficiency and it's not immoral. Like in a day-to-day life. Sure. For example, if I'm walking to work and I choose to walk on the inside of the pavement, I would get to my workplace quicker. But if I chose to walk on the outside, I would. Then I would use more energy and need more food, and I guess that would be inefficient. Damn, maybe that would be immoral. Just walking on the wrong side of the pavement. I guess that's immoral in some distant way. As that would use more energy. I can't think of an example. Actually, there is one. Can you think of any?
Maybe. Well, Christmas time is right around the corner, right? And a lot of people wrap up their Christmas presents in, wrapping paper. And that doesn't seem like something that's very necessary. It's kind of inefficient because you're taking the package, putting paper on it, and then just for someone to take that paper off, right? It doesn't really serve much of a purpose. Perhaps that's an inefficiency?
Yeah, but is it moral? Maybe it's immoral as you've got to cut down trees to make this paper, destroying habitats.
Right.
But then I guess you're also creating jobs. And it would be immoral to deny those people their jobs and their livelihood.
Maybe.
So we need wrapping paper. I guess that's a hard one.
I guess what The question, the question I'm trying to get at is these people who wrap up these presents, they are trying to make their kids, let's say, if as an example, they're trying to make their kids happy, right? Because when they rip that off, they're going to see the present and it's going to be like, surprise, and they're going to see that toy truck or something and they're going to be real happy, right? So that might come at like a small sacrifice as, maybe a tree and some gasoline to get it to the store and then they wrap it up, right? So it's an inefficiency, but so is farming. And perhaps when you put your bacon in your frying pan and stir it up, and then you eat it and you get really happy because you're having this like amazing bacon or something. Is that the same thing? Is that equivalent?
Is it equivalent? No, I guess it's not equivalent. There's got to be different degrees of morality on some level. One's taken a life, one hasn't. I guess that's one defining feature or difference between those two situations.
Makes sense. So, would you say that the inefficiency of it isn't necessarily a reason that it's immoral?
No, I think being inefficient in most situations is immoral. Although at the same time, I also believe it's almost impossible to live morally in that sense.
So you said that sometimes it's immoral to be inefficient. Is that what I heard?
I can't think of an example where inefficiency isn't immoral.
Okay.
So I think being inefficient is immoral.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's what I believe.
So even wrapping the presents, that's immoral?
Yeah, I suppose I think wrapping Christmas presents is immoral.
Okay. All right. Well, you're consistent.
I mean, just to be clear, I do wrap Christmas presents, so I guess I'm an immoral person in my own mind. But yeah.
Okay,
that's fine.
all right. The next reason that you gave was the bad conditions. The example you gave were chickens stepping over dead corpses.
Yeah, the cruelty of it all.
The cruelty, right. If I could provide you with information to your satisfaction that there were farms out there that did not have these types of conditions where they just leave corpses on the farm ground just for other animals to step over and commingle in the dead corpses. If I could provide you information that they're not doing that,
like free range farms.
Perhaps free range farms. Is that something that would be morally acceptable then?
I don't think it's more moral. It's more moral to give the animal a good life before you murder it, but you're still killing the animal for a selfish desire in the end. And I still think it's immoral, even if it does live a happy life, unless it's like you're eating the corpses of the animals that die. Like you wait for them to die naturally, and then you scoop them off and like eat them. But I guess then I don't know. Can you eat an animal that's died naturally? I have no idea.
I think you can. I'm not entirely well
versed if it's like a diseased or something.
Yeah. If it was old age, probably, but it may not taste great. I don't know.
Yeah, if it's just like had a heart attack and you suddenly go for it, then it's probably fine. But if it's like infested, died from like a worm's infestation of like bacteria, it's probably dangerous.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But yeah, I think eating like a corpse of an animal, that's moral, I think.
Are we talking about like a human corpse, or are we talking about an
That's a
animal?
whole
Okay.
other thing. I hadn't thought of that. You know what? Maybe eating human corpses is moral. It is efficient. It's definitely an efficient use.
Oh my! I thought that's what you meant when you said it. Obviously, you didn't.
No, that wasn't. I wasn't thinking of humans. I was thinking of animal corpse.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad.
It's like waiting for a cow to die, and then it's like, all right, cow, we'll take you into the slaughterhouse. Oh, it's already dead. We don't need a slaughterhouse. We can just eat it.
Oh boy. Yeah. Okay, so the bad conditions, if that was resolved, more or less, it would be more moral. But then we kind of uncovered, I think, what is another reason, is that prematurely ending these animals' lives is perhaps another reason that we uncovered?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, ending another life. I think is moral.
Okay, I think let's circle back to that one, because I think that's a good reason to tackle last. But let's talk about smart animals. That was the last reason you gave initially.
That wasn't so much a reason of it being immoral, more of like trying to counter argument in his way. As I feel a lot of people who eat meat like proudly will say that animals are just dumb, so it's moral to eat. It's just kind of like a throwaway statement that people give. So that was more me just trying to go ahead and counter that before it came up.
Okay, fair enough. Then I guess let's dig right into ending a animal's life prematurely before they are to naturally die, and you eat their corpse, apparently.
Yeah. And we're not talking about like euthanizing a sick animal, like, oh, poor chicken, it's very sick, we've got to put it out of its misery, and now we can eat it. We're talking about it's in its prime, it's happy, it's clocking around, I was like, chop off its head.
Okay. So, this is going to be a challenge for me. Let's see, what question can I ask? Well, I guess I'll start off with, perhaps this is a whole nother claim, so I might treat it that way. What are your reasons for thinking killing an animal in its prime is immoral?
Why do I think killing an animal, not necessarily killing it in its prime, but killing it out of selfish desire to eat at any stage of its life, even if it like was sick and in pain, if you didn't realize it and you killed it, I'd still think that's immoral. Why do I think that's immoral? Because it's a conscious creature, it wants to live, and you are putting your desire to end its life and eat it over its desire to live. And I think that's why I think it's immoral.
I don't think I have any other questions to ask. I think that was...
It's hard to counter, like, why is killing immoral?
Yeah, it's really hard. Yeah.
There's not much you can go for.
No.
You're like, well, I personally love killing. It's great.
Yeah.
Save the planet.
Well, I guess one thing that I could say, and this would be more of getting into a debate rather than street epistemology, but heck, I'll go for it. Why not? We're just having a conversation here. And for the sake of it, I think I'll go with it. With regards to killing the animal and eating it, if it brings, I guess, a sense of pleasure to human life, does that outweigh the animal's life? Like, does it justify the killing of the animal to bring pleasure and nutrients to a human?
As in, like, maybe the human will die if it doesn't eat the animal, kind of thing. Or...
We could go down that route. I wasn't intending to,
Okay.
but
I think it's still immoral, even if it's like ending a life, but like it's still a selfish desire to give yourself pleasure, even if like you're killing the animal because you're going to die. I think it's still immoral. You're choosing to put your life, value your life higher than another conscious being, and be like, yeah, you deserve to die so I can live. That's immoral. But I would probably, if I was in that situation, choose the immoral option, because I am to some extent selfish.
fair
and
enough.
I would eat the animal. But I would acknowledge it's immoral, and I'd be like, I will remember you, chicken. I will remember you.
So you'd, just kind of RIP and then, continue to eat.
Yeah, probably. I'd feel a little guilty, but I would still be selfish.
Okay, I think I found what I need to put on the thumbnail for this video.
Oh no.
I don't know, maybe. We'll see. I might actually end it a little bit earlier than at this part that we're talking about right now. I might not make it into it, but yeah, that was awesome. That, yeah, I think you have a obvious, legitimate reason for that belief. Got nothing for you. I think you're well grounded in that. Even though you don't, it seems like you do eat meat, so.
I do eat meat.
It's been ironic for you.
That's the worst thing.
Yeah. In all honesty, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I think it's immoral, but I continue to do it. Every once in a while, I do get the, what's it called? The fake meat, whatever that stuff's made out of.
Corn.
Corn, tofu.
Corn.
Tofu.
Tofu.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's pretty good. Like, I made chili out of it, and I can hardly really taste the difference. It's more expensive, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, I quite like tofu.
Yeah.
And corn as well. I don't mind corn so much.
Like corn? Like fake meat corn?
Yeah, it's a brand. It's grown off it's made from mushrooms, I think. Not mushrooms,
okay.
like mycobacteria or something.
Yeah. I think I might have seen that. I don't know that I've ever tried it.
It's not so... I don't know if it's so big in North America. I'm pretty sure it's banned in Canada. But
really?
I don't know if that's true. I'm going to Google it. Canada. Born in Canada. Okay, maybe it is legal in Canada. Never mind. But I think it is mainly a British thing.
Interesting. Well, I would like to try that. I gotta figure out how to get some.
Yeah, it's pretty good. My brother's a vegetarian, so I had corn growing up. Things like that.
That's cool.